Go.
Hi everybody, my name is Rachel. I'm an OTA student graduating in the spring, and this is our Anatomage table. This is a really great resource for our students to use. It is heat measured, so definitely having to be careful when having the Anatomage coach available to help you navigate the table is really beneficial. This resource is free for students to use, and we highly recommend using it during our office hours. This is Victor here. He's one of the 6 cadavers scanned into our system. He is a real individual who donated his body to science. We just treat him with the utmost respect. And for purposes of today, we're going to be focusing on Victor and his different structures. First, we're going to go ahead and start with taking Victor completely away and just being able to see him with his different structures. So I have selected the skeletal, the digestive, and the cardiovascular, just to see how those different systems interact with each other, specifically to Victor. As you can see, the body has multiple layers, which helps students really able to learn how the organs relate to each other and their functions. Victor was deceased when he donated his body, but this is how the typical blood flow occurs in a person. As you can see, there's a difference between the red and the blue. The red is oxygenated and the blue is deoxygenated, which is a really cool feature for our students who are learning about the cardiovascular system to understand the difference. We're going to go ahead and put Victor completely back together, and we're going to do some dissecting. So we have dissected his abdominal cavity, which is a really good area to see those organs that we just looked at before. So as I am hitting each structure, it does label what structure you took away, which is helpful once again for seeing how those layers interact with each other. So once again, we are going to be able to see that liver that we were looking at earlier. So it's really helpful for students to be able to dissect and see how they are layered in the body. And also you can keep pressing until you essentially bury a hole into Victor, which is really nice to see how they all interact. The next tab we're going to talk about is our kinesiology tab. This is really helpful for students who are in OT, PT, PA, really any healthcare major to understand how the body moves and what muscles are being used for each. So I am selecting the shoulder, and we are going to do abduction and adduction, which looks like this. What's really nice about the table is that you are able to see that the deltoid is being highlighted when you are abducting or taking away from the body. And when you're adducting, that entire muscle is being used. It's really helpful to understand the angles and the different systems that interact with each other to get a better understanding of how your body moves, and specifically when working with people with degenerative diseases, how those muscles and their strength really impacts their function. Another part of the kinesiology tab is you can look at the lower extremities. So for example here, we are going to be kicking like you'd be kicking a soccer ball. So you can see those muscles that are being used when you are bending your knee and when you are extending it.
Yep.
Another tab I want to discuss is the cardiology tab. This section of the table shows how the heart beats, and you can see right here the EKG that replicates what the heart is doing. So I just increased the heart rate, which you can see impacts how fast the heart beats. And I also decreased it so you can see how the muscles interact with each other when the heart is beating. What's also really nice about this tab is that you can go ahead and highlight what muscles are being used in the heart, which is really helpful for our students who are memorizing which sections of the heart are located and how they interact with each other. These are some helpful study tips for students who are learning anatomy while using the table. So we are going to take away a lot of the structures, and we're going to add the skeletal and the digestive, which is what we saw earlier. If you select the liver, it highlights it. And in this corner up here, you can see the function, the blood supply, and the innervation, which is really helpful for those multiple choice questions that ask what each organ does in the body. So that is a really helpful tip. Another thing that is helpful is that you can also isolate a structure. So for example, we have the skeletal system. And if we highlight specific ones, such as the humerus, we can go ahead and take away the rest of the structures so you can specifically isolate that area. Once again, this is a free resource for students to use, especially learning in the healthcare systems. So please feel free to come to our office hours that are listed on our website to get additional help using the table. Thank you.